The only thing the Arabs in Gaza and the West Bank want to do is to live in peace and provide for their families, right? Aren't those common values among all human beings? Unfortunately, that's not always the case when it comes to some of the so-called Palestinians, a term invented by Yasser Arafat in 1967. When children are raised on a diet of hating Jews and Israel and to value dying as a martyr more than anything else in life, when they are totally immersed in their schools with messages to kill Jews, and these messages are reinforced by family members and imams in the mosques, it is no surprise that many children grow up to become terrorists. And if anyone questions or deviates from this doctrine, they are punished, and sometimes worse. Under these circumstances, it's not difficult to understand how the slaughter, rape, torture, and kidnapping of innocent Israelis could be seen as a source of joy and accomplishment by some. Filming and broadcasting the atrocities of October 7th illustrated the blind and brazen hatred possessed by these terrorists and the pride they took in their monstrous atrocities. UNRWA is the United Nations relief agency charged with resettling the Palestinians who fled Israel in 1948, when 5 invading Arab armies tried to destroy the Jewish state after it declared its independence, and the UN recognized the State of Israel. Instead of resettling the Palestinians, UNRWA has kept them in a perpetual state of displacement and dependency for decades, for the sole purpose of turning public opinion against Israel. This United Nations organization cooperates with Hamas to radicalize the Palestinians with anti-Semitic propaganda against Israel and the Jews. Some Arabs are able to rise above this indoctrination and live normal lives. However, other Arabs obey their mentor's message and spend their time thinking about ways to kill as many Jews as possible. Raising generations of brainwashed children is one of the prime causes of terrorism. But regardless of how these unfortunate children grew up in a terrorist culture, the world and Israel in particular need to defend themselves against these violent psychopaths. Unfortunately, some countries are advocating for a two-state solution even after the savage attack on October 7th. Have they forgotten that Gaza was the trial balloon for the two-state solution? In 2005, the Israeli government removed all Jews from Gaza and gave the land to the Arabs to test the viability of the two-state solution. The United Nations and many well-meaning individual nations gave Hamas, the government in Gaza, billions of dollars. And Israel left intact housing and wealth-producing greenhouses for the Gazans to fuel their economy, in addition to other aid to help the exclusively Arab population prosper. However, the terrorists dismantled the greenhouses and turned the structural support beams into launchers, which were used to fire rockets into Israel. And the billions of dollars of aid were spent on building a vast tunnel network from which they attacked Israel and hid from what they knew would be Israel's retaliation and efforts to free the 250 living and dead hostages the terrorists dragged back to Gaza. So, no, the two-state solution has been tried in Gaza, and we've seen the results of those efforts. Financial and other aid were given to the governing authority, and the world expectantly waited for the Palestinians to prove that they could be responsible neighbors and good citizens of the world. Unfortunately, the hopes of the world and Israel were dashed when, instead of investing in infrastructure in the future, they assaulted Israel with rockets, raids, and other acts of terror. Hamas should never be allowed to exist, much less retain power in Gaza or anywhere else, including Judea and Samaria, which are in the heart of Israel. Only when their children are raised to respect others and not engage in terrorism should the world think about providing them with their own state. To do otherwise would be insane and suicidal and only act as an incentive to commit more terrorism, not only in Israel but throughout the world. To see more videos like this, please like, share, and subscribe. Thank you.